Hey everyone, it is Crystal with Pineapple Papers, and I have a baby gut scraps layout for you today. So this is not sped up because somehow I lost some of the footage. So I am also playing along with Moira's recipe challenge that is in the Rediscover Your Stash Facebook group. So the first thing is you either scrap lift yourself or a go-to design. And when I have 3 4x6 landscape photos, I have a tendency to stack them all in one row. So that is kind of a go-to design for me. So that's what I'm going to do as far as the first part of the recipe. So I have these 3 photos of my daughter doing her tap. And if I can remember, I'll maybe put it at the end of the video so you can actually see, because it was really cute for her play last year. So that's the first part of the recipe. The next part of the recipe is to use scraps, which is perfect because baby got scraps. So you can see I have a bunch of scrap pieces of paper here. I'm just going to kind of do a layering. So I tear this paper and then I realize, oh wait, part of the recipe is to use a punch. And I had pulled out this notebook punch. The other part of the recipe was to use ink, and I was like, oh, I can ink this. But this is where I decide, no, I'm going to actually use the border punch first, but I will ink all of the edges with black soot, distress oxide. So I like to do the notebook punches. It's probably my favorite border punch. And I especially like to do it if it's like school events or school related things, which the play was. And then, so when I taped down my photos, I only taped them on the left-hand side. Then I could tuck everything into the underneath of the photos. So that's what I'm going to do here. So of course I'm going to stick it down and then later remember that I wanted to ink the edges, but it's not too hard. It wasn't too hard to ink. I will also ink the edges of this cute little heart paper, and it was torn on 2 sides, so I went ahead and tore it on 3 sides, even though I end up covering the bottom and you can't tell anyway. So was an unnecessary step, but at this particular moment I wasn't sure that I wasn't sure that I was going to put something down at the bottom. So this is where I thought I turned off the camera. And this is where I thought I returned on the camera. But I obviously had that backwards. And so now my layout is pretty much done. So I'll just kind of walk you through it. I had that scrap banner piece of paper. So I put that down, and then I had a glitter paper that I backed with another paper and then black cardstock, and I'm going to use that as like my title block. And my title is going to be Extraordinary. That's a Bramble Fox perspective. And then I did a label and a couple of stickers. Another part of the recipe was to use buttons. So I've got some buttons on there. And then the ink, the splatters, go to design, ink, here's my splatters, scraps, buttons. I think there was one more thing, but I can't, oh, and then the punch. So I got all the things for the recipe on here. I also added a couple of music notes, since they weren't actually singing at this particular moment. They were tapping, but it was a musical. So there is my layout. Sorry, I messed it up and you didn't get to see the entire process. So if you have any questions, please leave them down below, and I will definitely get back to you. So that's going to do it for me today. Remember to wear your crown, and I'll see you next time. Bye.